I didn't even bother to turn my lights on. I just realized that because that was some bullshit tonight. I don't know about you guys, but that was the end. I'll give you the end. Probably not fouls. All right. I know some of you are going to disagree with that. Holy shit. Where you at, refs? Mason Jones is on the floor bleeding. Where you at? What's going on? Oh, that's right. You're too busy. You're too busy playing Candy Crush on your phone. Son of a bee sting. Look, final minutes. Tommy Kraft, who is an official, by the way, I guess he umps the high school games and whatnot. He says those weren't fouls at the end. The guy knows more about officiating than I do. But the rest of that game, are you kidding me? What the hell did we just watch? We get home cooking. Arkansas gets home cooking. Everybody gets home cooking. I get it. All right? I get it. But there were some horrific missed calls in this damn game. Horrific. Terrible. And again, it happens. And I'm not saying this just because it was a loss. There were some times this year, even on the road, I think it was Indiana or maybe Georgia Tech, Arkansas got away with some stuff, man. I thought those were some pretty well officiated games. Western Kentucky. I thought that was an evenly called game. I don't remember the foul differential, but I felt like everything that was called was pretty fair. This was terrible. You cannot convince me otherwise. Now, again, those final minutes, that final last couple of drives there, I don't know. I think it could have gone either way. Had that been at home, I think you probably would have gotten those calls. Neutral site or at LSU, you're not going to get them. LSU, I think what was more ridiculous, and we'll get to what Arkansas did wrong here in just a minute because they played themselves into this situation. It's not all 100% on officiating. It's not. But you weren't allowed to man up and play any kind of – there was no physicality allowed by Arkansas at all in this game. This is the worst officiated game I've seen all year. And I've watched a lot of basketball this year. I've caught every game on TV that were available. Just like I'm sure a lot of you have, and this was just terrible. I don't even know. There weren't any. I didn't see any flops. I think someone had mentioned flops. Maybe that was Discord or the Twitch channel. By the way, Luke never shaves. You're a hero. But tonight's live stream was a little glitchy, so I just pushed back over to YouTube TV. Tonight was just not, I don't know. You start off, I mean, my God, Arkansas had what, an 11-point lead? An 11-point lead. And all of a sudden, you just saw, it was like they were calling everything. It was like they let them play. Go back and watch this game. When they let them play basketball, Arkansas was running away with it. Go back and watch the damn film. Arkansas had an 11-point lead and had an opportunity to keep stretching this thing out, and then all of a sudden, here come the ticky-tack bullshit fouls. And all of a sudden, LSU shrunk that lead. And Arkansas turnovers. I think they had one or two there. And then they went on like a 2.5-minute no score. They didn't score for 2.5 minutes. Can't have that. LSU did everything they could to take away the perimeter, and they played. You got to give LSU credit. They played. This is probably the best basketball they've played. Well, I don't know. I don't know their numbers. It's probably some of the best basketball they've played all year. Nothing I saw tonight is pushing me off the Arkansas going to the tournament, because not only did they have to play against. By the way, where was there crowd in this game at all? Like, could you imagine – and I get they're playing for a national title in football, but here's the difference, I think, between Fayetteville or LSU fans and Arkansas fans. That would generate more excitement, especially with a winning record in Fayetteville. That would generate more buzz. When you've got a winning basketball team, I don't care if you're at 9, 10, 11 wins, 12 wins, that would generate even more excitement. With this big of a game on the line, imagine if the roles were reversed. Records were reversed in that game we're in Bud Walton tonight. Hell, you could put Arkansas with a 6-win record. You've got LSU, who's 12-1. They're probably ranked because for whatever stupid-ass reason, they'd be given the benefit of the doubt. Same schedule and everything. Don't get me started. Bud Walton would be sold out, or it'd be close to capacity, 15,000. Do you see those fans? Like, what the heck? Like, were they there? Too busy munching on corn dogs. LSU, the best that money can buy on that court. But they played good. I'm not going to take it away from them. I'm not going to say they went out there and they played some good basketball. First few minutes of that first half, they looked like shit. But from when they got a little help, they got a little push in the right direction, they started playing pretty good basketball. They understood what they needed to do, and they executed. I thought Musselman, coming out of timeouts, did a good job drawing up some set plays, getting Jimmy Witt set up. My God, Jimmy Witt, he's just so automatic with that mid-range jumper. It's not even funny. But tonight was the worst officiated game I've ever seen. Well, this season. I want to be clear. This season. And I've seen Arkansas get away with some murder this year at home. Straight up. Like home cooking, it's why you get the advantage. I don't know. I can't think. Maybe we could ask Tommy Kraft. Maybe you guys should ask Tommy, like, why refs just tend to favor the home team. Is it because they're afraid of the crowd, or, what is the deal with that? But that's just a thing, and it always has been. Home cooking, especially in basketball, it's just a thing. But tonight was worse than that. Arkansas just wasn't allowed to man up. They weren't allowed to get physical at all. LSU wasn't overly physical. And by the way, Arkansas looked like the better team. They look like the better team. They ultimately lost this game. Mason Jones, I wonder about that guy's ball handling skills. I really do. He's an MVP in every other facet of the game, but his ball handling skills, I don't know. Scale of 1 to 10, I'd give him like a 4. He scares me. In transition, he scares me. When he acts like he's going to drive the lane and then he kicks the ball back out, I'm just waiting on him to turn the ball over. I mean, hell, he's had multiple 7 and 5 turnover games this year. I don't know what he had tonight, but tonight's officiating was the worst. It's not ultimately you lost the game because, well, partly because you couldn't overcome what LSU was doing on defense. I think they actually shot okay from the floor. I don't think it was that bad. I guess LSU not only paying players. In all seriousness, it just wasn't a well officiated game. It wasn't. I don't care. Jordan Webb, absolute shite. Jared Collins, why do we not have more than 2 bigs on this roster? Jared, that's a good question. Or is it Gerard? It looks like it's supposed to be Gerard. That's a good question. They just, you lost Gafford, and they just don't have any bigs. Connor Vanover, this is what we've been talking about. You can't coach size. I don't know. The upper deck at their arena looked empty. I agree. Preach Ty. It was either the whistle or an offensive rebound. Yeah, okay, there's the other part. That's why you ultimately lost this game. Okay, that's ultimately why you really lost this game. LSU, I mean, it was ridiculous. So, for those of you late coming in, not knowing what's going on, LSU wins this thing 79-77. I know I went on a swear rant. It's just, look, the Western Kentucky game, I remember, did we do a post game for Western Kentucky? I don't think we did. I think I was texting some friends. I probably griped about officiating a little bit. Everybody does. It doesn't matter. If you're winning or losing, everyone's going to complain a little bit. But I can remember after that game going, no, I think that was a pretty well, evenly called game. Officiating was what it was. There were some bad moments in that game, like there are in every game. There's always going to be a blown call or they miss a flop. You're supposed to give out these warnings now for flops, or they let them play a little too physical inside, and then all of a sudden they start calling like that stuff's going to happen throughout the transition of a game. It's the amount of times it took Arkansas to actually get to the free throw line to what the final 4 minutes of the first half, and how many times has LSU already taken trips to the free throw line? It was ridiculous. Let's go over these numbers really fast. We'll start with LSU. Days thought he was going to end up being their leading scorer, but he was not. Remember, these guys average 4 players a game in double-digit scoring. This is like a top 25 scoring basketball team. This is a good LSU team you just lost to on the road. I think they're a tournament team. Days with 16, but their leading scorer was Watford at 21, and Mays was a problem for Arkansas. 19 points. Smart had 10. Yeah, they had 4 of their 5 starters with double digits. They got a little bit of help from their bench. Hyatt came in and got some defensive rebounds. They at the end of this thing, they ended up with 52 total rebounds to Arkansas's 24. Arkansas had 3 offensive rebounds to their 23 offensive rebounds. That's a lot of second chance shooting. Look, LSU comes back to town March 4th, and I really hope Arkansas pays them back. I really hope they do. I hope they stick a boot so far up their asses. I hate losing to these guys. I hate it. So Arkansas, a little bit different. Numbers, look, your leading scorers, Isaiah Joe had 13, but your league scorer Mason Jones with 24, Witt with 22. So 3 of your starting 5 ended up with double digits. They were in foul trouble like right out the gate. Mason Jones fouled out. Bailey had 4. I mean, my God, Chaney had 4. By the way, Chaney had a couple on him that were ridiculous. Just ticky-tack fouls, and they're ridiculous. Arkansas would shoot 46% from the floor, almost 35% from three-point range, 8 of 24. Isaiah Joe tonight was only 2 of 8. He just couldn't catch fire, and they wouldn't let him. That was LSU's game plan. And this is something else we talked about over and over. What happens when you can't win inside the paint? You can't get the rebounds. You don't have the size. You don't have the physicality to play inside. Outside of Bailey, you really don't have anyone that can really give you assistance. Bailey and Chaney inside. You don't have size, and they start, they're able to box you out. They can play perimeter defense, and they have pretty good talent on their roster. LSU's a very good example of that. They're not overly big. They're not much bigger than Arkansas is. But this was, look, I'm not taking them out of the tournament. Not going to do it. This is, if anybody is, that's a very reactionary thing to do. Are these numbers refreshed? Hang on, let me refresh these numbers really quick. Make sure these numbers are right, because I thought, yeah, they are. Mason Jones, 24. Yeah, okay. But if you're taking Arkansas out of the tournament based on this game, you didn't watch the same game. Someone on our Discord said that this was Arkansas's worst game of the year. I couldn't disagree more. I mean, their backs were against the wall. Like I said earlier, they were playing against, let's be real, against the officials, against some, I guess you call that a crowd. I guess they call that a crowd down there. I don't know. We don't up here. But and then you're playing against a pretty good team, a pretty good talented basketball team. That's why we replace the L. When you tweet out LSU, it needs to be $U. Yeah. 94% at the free throw line for Arkansas, 17 of 18. That's some pretty damn good shooting up there. How about Witt, 4 for 4 at the free throw line? Has he gone 100% at the line when shooting more than having more than 2 attempts? Your only miss was Isaiah Joe, but he was 3 of 4. For A&M, 41% from the floor, 27 to 66. 3-point range, they were 26%, 4-15. Once again, Arkansas's perimeter defense still better than yours. And then free throw line, they were at 75%, 21 to 28. I don't think it was an effort thing. I don't think it was a lack of energy or lack of effort. It wasn't a lack of game plan. I think again, when they're crashing the boards like that, it's a tough one. It's tough to win those games. That's just the bottom line. Let me read your comments. Let's see. Boot up the ass. I agree. So you can't coach better rebounding. No, you really can't, because you can't coach size. Kelly Marie, I can't hang with that. I can't hang with that stupid game. Just wanted to pop in and say hi. I know it was a tough one, but I appreciate it. I'm always going to get smaller crowds in here when Arkansas loses, but I do appreciate everyone coming in. The tickets were like $10. I don't know what you're talking about, Gavin. Are you talking about to get into the LSU game? For getting beat so bad by the whistle and on the boards, Arkansas hung in there. And that's the thing. They were up against a lot tonight. They were up against a lot. I thought, honestly, it's definitely nowhere near their worst game. They've played worse and still won. And when you consider the odds, that they were up against, they played some pretty good ball. So at Ole Miss on Saturday, January 11th. As far as I know, it's still at 5 p.m. This one, you got to win if you want to keep any respect, any momentum that you have. You've got to find a way to get that dub. What is Ole Miss up to these days? Let me pull that up really quick. I wasted all my energy ranting in the beginning of this thing. I'm tired, y'all. Going to hopefully, well, no, can't watch Witcher. It's too late. Wife is already in bed. But let's see. What is Ole Miss doing tonight? They are, so Arkansas is favored. They are favored in that game. Ole Miss is a very similar record. They're 0-1 in conference, 9-5, similar to LSU, I mean. But Arkansas is favored at almost 61% in this game, according to ESPN's Basketball Power Index. If I remember right, they do have some. They've got some ballers, but they beat Arkansas State earlier this year. Yay! They lost to Memphis, 87-86, and at the time Memphis was ranked top 20 in the country. They lost to Oklahoma State. They got smoked against Oklahoma State, 78-37. Butler they lost. It looks like everyone decent they've lost to. Ouachita State they lost by 20, and they lost at A&M by 10. That's their last game. They lost by 10. When did they play that? Was that today or yesterday rather? Tuesday? Would have been yesterday, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm probably going to go with Arkansas. Here's the crazy thing. I still got to record Pig Trail podcast. I just realized that. I got to record PTP tonight. All right. I don't think there's really much more to say. It was a horribly officiated game. Awful. Worst officiated game I've seen so far this year. Come on, they get killed on the boards and by the refs and only lose by 2. I thought they still played their asses off. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. C.F. Miller. If Janie doesn't screw us at half, we win. Yeah, he got teed up. That was stupid. Chaney, that was stupid. And again, you didn't lose this game because of officiating. You lost this game due to a lot of different things, a lot of different factors in this bad boy. Henderson needs to pick up his game. He needs to play. Well, there's a lot of people. Well, I'm not going to go into that. I was going to say there's some people who believe that eventually he's just going to transfer out. I don't know. Where can I send an email to the SEC for the refs? Oh, man, do it. I'm sure Eric Musselman, he was not happy with the officiating. I didn't get a chance. I didn't listen to Chuck tonight. I didn't listen to Chuck and Coach Zim, but I wish I had. I'm really curious what those guys had to say on the air. I wish they won, but taking in consideration the officiating and getting out rebounded and losing in terms of second chance point to only lose by 2, I'll take it. You've got to take that, right? I agreed to win. Thank you. Chaney can't be blamed for BS calls, though. He didn't screw us. Well, when you get teed up and you lose, when you let your emotions take over like that, that's on you. Got to take responsibility for it. Can't wait. All them freshmen coming in our transfers getting to play. We're going to shock the country. I guess you're talking about next year then. LSU paying kids and refs. Yeah. Diet Pepsi. It looked like he hit him on the wrist. Oh, is Diet Pepsi in here tonight? Is Eric Musselman's Diet Pepsi in here? What did Chaney do to put the I can't Toll, I think it's late for you too, my man. He punched the ball. He kind of like swatted the ball at it, if that's what you're asking. They're going to call that right after yeah, he was called for the foul. The ball came down. I think he grabbed it and he kind of like, not really, I don't want to say swung at it, but kind of hit my microphone. He kind of smacked the ball, and you're going to get teed up for stuff like that. I think there was a time when you could kind of get away with stuff like that, but not anymore. The fact that they didn't call a foul at the end on Desi's shot really grinds my gears. Jared Fountain. I don't know. Tommy Kraft says that wasn't a foul. I only caught it like as I was walking because I knew they lost, and I was walking out and I saw him with the ball coming out. So I knew that we had lost. So I haven't actually gone back. What I saw didn't at first it looked like a foul, but then after reading some of the reactions on Twitter, people are saying that wasn't a foul. I don't know. Trump needs to tell all the refs after the game, "You fired, you fired." I am sick of Jimmy Dykes. He is a horrible basketball coach. All he seemed to want to do is talk about LSU versus Clemson. Ty, I'm getting flamed on Twitter because I think Joe was blocked clean at the end. What do you think? Yeah, I need to go back and watch that apparently. Some controversy there. There's some controversy, and I guess I need to go back and watch it. I thought Jimmy Dykes is a homer, though. When you hear him talk about Arkansas, I don't know. And then sometimes he tries to make up for it by talking and really talking up the other team. But he's a homer. I don't know. I thought Jimmy's better than most others. I'll say that. Jimmy Witt is cold on the mid-range shots. That mid-range jumper is ridiculous. The fact they didn't even review the foul is BS after reviewing what they did earlier. That is true. I could go on and on. Again, I'll sum it up like this. Arkansas lost this game because of their inability to rebound. Let's be real. All those second-chance shots they gave up to LSU. LSU on the offensive boards, it was ridiculous. That's why they lost. They didn't turn the ball over. Like, you don't look at this and go, oh, their turnovers were horrific. I mean, they've had worse moments this year as far as the turnovers are considered. But ultimately, what lost this game for you is your inability to play inside. LSU played great perimeter defense. They did what they needed to do. Jimmy Witt kept you in this game. Mason Jones kept you in this game. Isaiah Joe, later on, they had to sit him there in a little bit for the first half because he had 2 fouls. Ridiculous. One of those fouls was ridiculous. The other one, maybe not. You're going to get called for some of the other slapping and stuff like that. But last foul, that last foul was not in the act of shooting. LSU fans tapped me on the shoulder and told me we got screwed multiple times. But, yeah, rebounding was horrible. At the end of the day, it's why you lost. It's why you lost. The officiating just didn't help. It was terrible. It was the worst officiated game I've seen Arkansas have to deal with this year. Eric Musselman's Diet Pepsi. It was close enough. They would have called it on us. Laugh out loud. Now that, Lance, you are very right about. All right, I'm going to record the Pig Trail podcast. It's going to be a short one for those of you who listen on for Thirsty Thursdays. I'm going to try and keep it around 20 minutes, but it'll probably be under that because I'm about to fall asleep. I'm exhausted. I appreciate you guys. Remember to like, comment, share, all that. Well, you already commented. I'm stuck in that, Like and share the content. Check out all the links down below. There's a tip jar down below as well, PayPal and Patreon. If you guys want to go be a part of that, if you want to be a part of the Pig Trail Network Patreon, it's just $4 a month. If you want to help the channel out, and if you don't want to do that, if you'd rather just a one-time donation, you can do that with the PayPal link. But I appreciate you guys coming through chat and being a part of this. Really do appreciate it. I think that's it. I think we're done. I will see you guys live Friday night. Probably 6 p.m. would be my guess. Looking forward to it. Hell of a game. I've still got Arkansas in the tournament. Need to win at Ole Miss, though. That is a must-win. So we'll talk more about that on Friday night. And we've got some recruiting stuff to talk about on Monday night, too. Some stuff has happened. And I'm sure more stuff will continue to happen up until then. So I'll see you guys then. Woo pig. Be good.